Hey, Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome to the Aztec Overexplained game, where we're going to be talking about pre-building and timing attacks today, and exactly how it works, and the process of identifying when you have a timing attack. Generally speaking, a timing attack will revolve around a key unit, be it line infantry, be it cuirassier. It's typically going to be your heavy cavalry and your artillery-based units, so you could have a bombard timing, like a bombard cuirassier timing. Siege units are more like support units specifically designed to kill the city. And then the actual cuirassier or heavy tanks are used to gain control of the battlefield. So that's kind of like how you should generally think about it. One of the units is for killing units and one of them is for killing cities. So we are going to want to see if we can get a little bit of artillery up here, do some bombard pre-building as well. We have our barracks in the capital. Let's get the armory. And we're building these encampment buildings because we would like to get a great general. It's important. It's not necessary in single player to get a great general, but it is good and important if you can. So we're going to go ahead and harvest this food source. And that should have given the city a huge boost to its food. So it will grow next turn, giving me the boost for urbanization, which is perfect. And then we just need to have 3 cores in my military. And having 3 cores should be fairly easy. Should. Keyword should. It may not be. It may not be fairly easy. I don't think I harvest the stone. The city doesn't have a best production, so I will improve the stone. Sometimes harvesting stone is the right move. Sometimes improving stone is the right move. It all depends on like how your city plans line up. I think in this particular city, I will be harvesting the stone to give it a little bit of a quick boost. There's the watermill coming out. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and put my spy in Pyongyang because that is the furthest back city for Korea. And so it's where I can do the spy mission the longest. And it'll be the last city that I intend to take from Korea. I am going to completely wipe out Korea just to kind of show you how a timing attack works. All right, urbanization is done. That was the boost we were looking for. Nationalism is about to pass. So we're building encampment buildings to get our... We're building encampment buildings to get our great general points up. We're banking gold, right? We're not spending our money to be able to... I mean, I'll spend a little bit of gold here or there, you know, here or there, here or there. But yeah, we're banking money. I want this Eagle Warrior to get upgraded to a line infantry, and then I want this Aztec Knight to come back, because this is technically a pre-build over here. So I keep losing my train of thought as I'm trying to explain what we're doing. Basically, what we're doing is we're trying to converge a multiple set of bonuses. We're trying to unlock mobilization, which will allow us to combine our units together into stronger units, giving us a higher combat strength, making it harder to deal with our units. So sometimes less units with a higher combat strength is better than more units with a lower combat strength. I would say generally that is true. Combat bonuses are important. The other thing that we're trying to do is get a great general, again, for combat bonuses. We're trying to pre-build units that can be upgraded into tanks, because if we look at the production cost of a cuirassier here, they cost 330 production, whereas a tank, that will cost me 480 production. So upgrading is a little bit cheaper than building it out raw. So that's like one of the things that we're doing. And there's nationalism, which will allow me to now combine my units together. And just to talk a little bit about unit combat strengths here, it actually is an important topic. So if we take a look at these units, let's go ahead and form a core out of them. So you can see a core unit has a plus 10 combat strength bonus when you combine 2 units together. You can see here, this is 40-50. And if I check the uncored crossbowman, that's 30-40. So plus 10 combat strength is, again, like if we look at the tech difference, like let's look at swordsmen, okay? Swordsmen are 35 combat strength. And then we look at man-at-arms, that's 45 combat strength. So by building 2 units and combining them together, you're essentially making a unit that is a technological era ahead. That is why nationalism and cores are so important. And the other really, really important thing is that you don't have an infinite front line with the enemy. Like if I look at the city of Gyeongju, I can maybe occupy 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 front line. Like realistically, I can only attack this tile, this tile, this tile. I can maybe get 3 units on the front line here. So I would rather have 6 units combined into 3 where they're stronger, and I occupy these 3 tiles for tempo with a couple of artillery behind it, rather than having like 6 units all trying to jostle around and try and get in here. That's why it's important. It's important to do this. Sitting on a few envoys, I think I can take out Diplomatic League. I'm going to take out Diplomatic League. I'm going to take out Retainers because it goes obsolete soon. I'm going to plug in Professional Army. And I will also plug in colonial taxes just for a couple of minutes here. I want to keep suzerainty of Kumasi, Be good to keep control of lower. I'll put another 2 points into Muscat and hold there. That's just so that when I build my banks, they're worth more. That's really all it is. I did get my consulate, right? Yeah, I did. So I'm getting maximum envoys. We're getting envoys relatively quickly here. I may want to consider some farms in and around here because the city does have relatively low food. I mean, the camps help, but they're not perfect. Let's go ahead and settle another city. You can see here, we're filling up the land like I had talked about. We're kind of filling out the territory efficiently with a very small number of cities to claim as many tiles as possible. And generally, I go Monument Granary, although Watermill, Granary, Monument are also totally valid choices here, in my opinion, especially when you have tiles that are worth working. Any of these cities have good Magnus. Actually, Magnus could be established into Zacatula. And I would like to promote Victor with Embrasure so that he can get units that have a free promotion. So when he starts building units that go on you, those units will have that extra promotion. And that's just like an efficient thing to do. Again, when you're trying to pull something off, you never want to half-ass it. You want to get your whole ass, get those cheeks clapping, okay? You need to, this maybe is going into a weird place, but you got to get the whole ass in there. You can't half-ass things, okay? It just will not work in your favor. You have to be clapping your way to victory, okay? Yeah, but like a less memey way to say that is you should be trying to do things deliberately and like with force. You shouldn't be like, oh, I'm kind of maybe going to go to war. No, if you're going to war, you're committing. Now, I mean, you can make a decision like I'm going to poke, but you don't send a poke at your enemy and you're like, oh, this is going to kill him. No, the poke is the force of response, right? The force them to be at war, force them to waste production on military, all that sort of stuff. Like, you have to understand what is the goal of what you're trying to do. And if you're trying to push someone and really take them out, you have to commit to that action. So we're still a little bit behind on trader production. So I'm going to go ahead and stop off for a trader real quick in Flexipan. Banks are really, really good, but they're not necessary. I think I would classify, once you have the market, you're kind of okay. And what I want to start doing is, with my heavy cavalry units, I want to start picking up the Spear of Fionn bonuses so that my tanks are even stronger when we hit the tank timing. Ooh, I don't actually think that I've improved Wales yet, so that's another +1 combat strength on that if I can grab it, and I will. We have the armory in the capital now. Let's get the military academy. Let's have a look at the great person situation. A modern era great general. We are going to have to get a modern era one, and they're like super, super expensive. That's unfortunate that we missed an industrial era great general. It's because I decided to do a tank push very late. Usually the earlier you decide these things, the sooner you can get all your bonuses kind of pointing in the right direction. I was a little bit slow to make this decision, which is unfortunate. It's not the end of the world. Like, we'll be fine. It just is what it is. It's a little slow. It's a little bit off tempo, but because I'm so high in science and culture, I can kind of play an off tempo build. Now, I also need to make sure that I upgrade both of these units to field cannons so that I can boost Scorched Earth, save myself a little bit of culture for getting to mobilization. And then I need to get some cores. So let me think about, where can I get another core? All my current existing military is quite spaced out, but maybe I can buy another courser. It's cavalry now. That's unfortunate. That's a little bit less valuable of a proposition to me. What's the cheapest unit that I can buy? Oof. They're all very expensive. Let me think about this. I'll combine 2 cuirassiers. I'll have this Eagle Warrior walk north and combine with this guy, and then that will be it, I think. Yeah, that should do it. We should be fine. So 2 turns until we unlock refining. It would be good to get an archaeologist, I think. Did I ever finish the archaeological museum down here? I did, so I can go ahead and buy an archaeologist. And by extracting an artifact, I will boost combustion. I would like to get an ironclad. Maybe I can purchase a caravel. That would boost steel. If I go refining, steam power, steel, buy a caravel, upgrade it to an ironclad, yeah, and then that'll be sort of an efficient navigation. And then I also have access to railroads to follow my tanks and keep them moving on the front line efficiently. Also, it looks like this Ottoman city is flipping independent, which is good for me. Not so good for him being the Ottomans. You know what I could do? I could use some builders to chop out cuirassiers with all these forests I have down here. I think that's what I will do to make my pre-building slightly stronger. Alrighty, aid request on Suleiman. I will vote that up. He could use the gold. Grand Columbia aid request is ending. I don't think I'm going to go for a diplomatic victory this game. I think I want to showcase like a few different things, so we'll go ahead and basically ignore that. I mean, it would cost me like 1,000 gold to get it. Yeah, I guess I don't care about a diplomatic victory. So, any oil. 1 copy of oil in this whole empire really well. I basically have to go ahead and buy a builder here. Very expensive. So this is why I was banking my gold, because the gold is important to hit some of these important things. Really, the one copy of oil. So one copy of oil is a bit unfortunate. There's another copy over here in Teo. That's at least like slightly better. I can make use of that one. Any oil down in the tundra? Wow, really? I only hit 2 oil. Like, look at the size of this empire, dude. And I hit 2 copies of oil. Let me have a little bit of a think about this. Yeah, I'm going to need to pick up conservation here. And the reason I need to pick up conservation is to get 2 extra oil per turn from my improved resources. Also, can I check my city-states? Do any of my city-states have oil? They might have oil. It's unlikely. I'm not going to be building settlers anymore, so I should probably have that card plugged out. In terms of what I need the most here, is I need to pick up Divine Right for Chivalry for a 50% production boost towards cavalry units. I need to plug in Military Organization to get that Great General faster. And to replace those amenities, I'll need to plug in Liberalism. It's not perfect, but it does kind of point me in the right direction. I could probably take out Public Works here if I wanted to and plug something else in. What would I plug in instead of Public Works? Vessel Banking is good, so I think I should keep it because I'm getting good value from it. Commercial Hub Adjacency, that's worth 30 gold. Yeah, I think I'll plug in Triangular Trade for the extra 48 gold and 12 faith, and then I'll go ahead and cancel Builder Production here. I'll kind of take a break from building builders, you know, because it's inefficient to build them right now. I have all the builders I need for the foreseeable future. I need military engineers and stuff like that. We're 69 turns from getting John Monash, the Modern Era Great General. That will speed up though. Now that we have this card plugged in, that should change. I would like myself to generate fewer grievances, and I would like better production towards encampments. I'm going to heavily vote on this to try and tip the favor in the direction I want it to go, because I want to build lots of encampments right now. Oh, God damn that flood. So encampments passed, and I will get fewer grievances. So this means I can conquer Korea with impunity. I will not suffer very great consequences for this act I'm about to do. I mean, the city doesn't have a very good place to put a thing, so I'll just put a harbor in here. Like, why not? What we want to do here is to use the listening post ability, and that's for a very, very simple reason. If we click on this unit and we hover over this city, you could see that we have a 63 versus 63 combat strength against this city. If I go ahead and activate the listening post ability, that will give me +1 diplomatic visibility against Korea. And now I'll be doing 63 against 66. That's a +3 combat strength advantage for using a spy to get a listening post. So it's important to use your spies to develop your combat strength bonuses, because we're starting to accumulate those bonuses. It looks like we have our Great General down to 47 turns, so that's quite a bit faster. We also have just unlocked Monarchy, which will allow us to now plug in the Chivalry card so we can produce military units faster. It's exactly where we want to be. So we can get these cuirassiers out, which now makes it worth it to chop them out. I need to get Urbanization and Mobilization. It would be nice to build a neighborhood with breathtaking appeal to get conservation sooner as well. So with the amount of oil that I'm going to have access to here, I'm going to probably have access to like 6, maybe 8 oil, which tells me I can have maybe 4 tank armies and 2 artillery armies. We have our military academy in the capital. I could pick up Kilwa here in 11 turns. It would crush my tempo on the war stuff a little bit. Is anybody building Kilwa is the question I'll ask, because it's a really, really strong wonder. Nobody is building it, and it would only take me 11 turns to build. I could be building cuirassier cores here. I could probably get 2 out in the time that it would make me build Kilwa, but getting Kilwa would be based for military production. So what Kilwa does is it gives you 3 envoys when you build it. And if you're the suzerain of a city-state type, like for example, an orange city-state, anything that has to do with orange things is better. So city-states like this, they give you extra production when building wonders, buildings, and districts. So I would get a 15% boost across my entire, or across in this city towards anything that this guy boosts. And so I would get a 15% production towards building units in this city if I built Kilwa right now. 15% is a pretty significant bonus. I think Kilwa is too strong for me to ignore it, as much as I really would rather be doing something else with my production right now. As much as I would rather be running these encampment trainings, I kind of have to not. Military Academy coming up. I'll need to look for more cities that could do Military Academy. Waxotla got the Cuirassier. Let's drop down an encampment there. There's the Spear of Fionn on our knight. I think I'll drop an encampment in Ixtapaluca as well. It'll only take 12 turns to build. We'll get this oil well up. This will give me 3 oil per turn, so I will be able to get like 6 tank armies. And I'll be able to get 6 tank armies with, 2 artillery armies following up. I could also do 5 tank armies and 3 artillery. I think 5 and 3 might sound a little bit better, actually. So it's usually a good idea to scout the the snow for oil. There is actually oil over here, and I could settle on top of that, which would allow me to expand the size of my army. There's combustion boosted by extracting an artifact. I'll take a Montezuma artifact, plus it increases my culture slightly. Chemistry advanced 4 turns until Ruhr. We got our watermill in here. I don't remember what I was going to do. I guess an encampment makes sense. Still behind on traders and spies, but it'll be something I work on continuously. Let's get a cuirassier down in the city, and then we'll chop it out. Boom. Let's send this cuirassier to the front line. It's going to take me 22 turns to get this great general, which is a lot more respectable than what it was a couple of turns ago. That feels a little bit more achievable. I want to tap the Spear of Fionn with all of my cavalry units. And I need to start banking gold properly now. I will buy this oil. I don't need to accumulate oil. The only thing that matters is how much oil I have in the bank, how much I'm using, and how long until I run out. So getting this oil online early will mean that I can maybe run an oil deficit for longer before I start running into trouble. Running an oil deficit is a totally reasonable thing to do. I will have relatively large oil reserves. There's steam power, which probably means I want a military engineer or two. They're kind of expensive, but maybe worth it. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to stop doing encampment trainings and instead get myself 3 military engineers to start building a railroad up to the Spear of Fionn. Your production is a little bit too weak to be dropping an encampment, so just get me the library. And is there a cheap district I could maybe drop down here? Entertainment complex. Cheap holy site. There's a yeah, I'll just drop down a cheap holy site. So the way units inherit bonuses is kind of interesting. We want to pair units off in terms of their promotions and whether or not they have Spear of Fionn. Because if one of the units that you combine together has Spear of Fionn, oh my god, there was a natural wonder hiding down here in the fog of war the entire game. If one of the units has a bonus like Spear of Fionn, if you combine it together with a unit that doesn't have that bonus, you'll keep that bonus. So that's why walking these up here preemptively to pick this up means I don't have to walk every single tank up there when I actually get them. Let's go ahead and improve this guy to be an ironclad. That'll give me a little bit of aero score as well as boosting steel, which gets me closer to artillery. That's actually a problem, is how quickly I'm getting artillery. I need to get a bunch of bombards real quick. So I'm going to delay my tank push slightly so that I can pick up bombards, and instead I will start researching flight so I can get the observation balloon. Observation balloons are handy. Plus, I'm about to finish the Ruhr Valley and I'll be able to crank units out of that city really quickly. Let's renew our military alliance with the Cree. I would say anything that's taking more than 10 turns to build a military unit is probably inefficient here. 10 turns, I would feel, is about the pace that I want to be hitting here. And the reason for that is that it'll take too long. Because I plan to declare war in around 10 to 20 turns, so it needs to hit a little bit sooner than that, man. I need to get neighborhoods up as well. I just have too many things I need to build too quickly. I'm a little bit choked for production right now. Maybe Malinalco, when it's finished, can help. But yeah, Ayayayokul has been hiding down here in the bottom of the map the entire game. Just slowly erupting, improving these tiles. If there's an important strategic resource down here, it might be worth settling. Perfect. There's the Ruhr Valley giving me an even better production boost in this city. Malinalco is now popping off with 51 production per turn. That's pretty good. I need to get some trebuchets and bombards out. I have 1. I need 9. That's the thing. I need 9 trebuchets / bombards to hit where I want to hit here. And I am going to get Albert Einstein this game, which will make my research labs really, really powerful. I'm quite happy about that. I've also gotten a hell of a lot of great merchants and envoys from those great merchants. Super happy about that choice. Military Academy completed in Teo. Maybe a trebuchet corps in 6 turns might be the right move. In terms of construction, this counts as 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 of the artillery units that I need on the way. So my dreams of settling all this unoccupied land have kind of gone out the window in favor of this war. But I think that's a totally reasonable choice to make. Let's combine these cuirassiers together. There's mobilization. Perfecto. 3 turns until we can get armies going. Okay, there is flight, which will give me access to the observation balloon, a useful unit for military adventures. We can start railroading all around here. And the goal with building railroads is to increase the mobility of our units when we attack Korea. So I'll probably put railroads basically across the entire front line here. And then one long, thin railroad going up to the Spear of Fionn. So that reinforcement units will get the opportunity to get upgraded with that. I'm not ready to research steel, so I will take a turn to research economics. Another trebuchet is finished. And I think with this trebuchet army that I plan to build in Tenochtitlan, I think that would be all of the artillery I need. I'll have to do a review though. All right, we have mobilization, so we can start looking to actually get our armies up. So here's our first Cuirassier army, and if you remember, only one of these units had the Spear of Fionn. I combined 3 of them together, and now I've got an 81 combat strength Cuirassier that can nearly two-shot a Korean city. And it's not even a tank yet, by the way. Let's pick up Conservation for better oil. I will grab Albert Einstein because he's one of the most powerful great scientists in the entire game. His ability here to give research labs +4 science is really, really incredible. It gives your research labs incredible scaling. It's like a 50% boost in their raw science output. So absolutely you want him if you're going any sort of scientific victory. Let's switch this core to an army. Also, a fun little trick, by the way, that not a lot of people know is, let's say I'm building this trebuchet core and I cancel it. If I come into here, right, I can't build trebuchets right now, but if I come into here and I start building a bombard, right, I queue up a bombard that will use up the niter in my queue, and that will allow me to go back to building a trebuchet. And here's the really important thing is you can actually start pre-building armies, right? So let's say I was researching mobilization. I can start building trebuchets, then start building trebuchet corps, and then start building army. And the production will, as long as I never finish it, the production will carry over into the next tier of the unit. So I'm ready here now to get working on a trebuchet army. And that'll only take 7 turns. Let me count what I have here. I have 1 bombard, 2 bombards and a trebuchet. That's 1 full army. I have a bombard here, a bombard here, and a corps. That's actually too much. I have too many. I actually only need a trebuchet corps here. So I don't need to build a trebuchet army. I actually just do need a trebuchet corps to hit my 3 artillery level that I want to hit. Sitting on 8 envoys, I have nothing really to spend them on because I want to maintain my suzerainty and I don't benefit much. I mean, 1 point in Singapore is helpful, I guess. And another point in Lahore actually would give me a little bit of military production. That is a mistake, and I didn't have that already. Otherwise, none of these, I don't have research labs yet. I don't need suzerainty. I don't have stock exchanges yet. I don't even have banks yet. So honestly, like, again, keep your there's no need to spend envoys if you don't have a good reason to. It's okay to just sit on your envoys and hold them for a while. Let's send these two. Well, let me think about what I need to send up to the north. I need to send a bombard up to the north to pick up Spear of Fionn. Let's go back to building cuirassiers. Or cuirassiers, I think they might be called. I don't remember. I don't remember how to actually pronounce a lot of the units and stuff like that in this game. Right now we're just kind of executing a build. Now, while all this is taking place, I'm still developing my infrastructure, right? I'm still getting more trade routes, and honestly, it's probably a little bit of a mistake that I haven't actually built the trade route. It's going to have to be like a priority here in some of these cities to actually get a few traders going, because I'm a little bit behind on my traders. Bit of an understatement to say I'm a little bit behind on traders. I can 10 turn a cuirassier army, which is very, very nice, because that's actually technically 10 turning a tank army, right? If you really think about it for a second, because it will be turned into a tank army with just gold. Also, don't forget that connecting 2 cities with railroads will give you some era score, so it is worth it to do. Is it safe now to research artillery? We've got a trebuchet coming next turn, and a bombard coming in 2 turns. I think it's safe now to research artillery, so we'll get that underway. And I think now is about a good time to start building banks. My gold economy is becoming more and more important for sustaining my production, so we'll get that underway. Let's combine these 2 trebuchets together to form an army that has the Spear of Fionn ability without having to actually go up here and get the ability. Kind of like the nice thing. All right, so trebuchet armies completed. Let's get to work on those cuirassier armies. I need to do a count. I have 1 cuirassier army. I have 2 Spear of Fionn cuirassiers. I've got a cuirassier army coming out over here. So that's 1, 2, 3. I need 15 cuirassiers total. So I have 3 here, 4 here, 5 here, 6 here, 7, 8, 9 here, 10, 11, 12 here, 13 here. So I need 2 more cuirassiers to be added. So I need 2 more, and then I should be good. I could use my faith to yoink this great general, and I think I will, just because I want to secure one. So we've got intel on our opponents. We've got our timing attack being set up. We're in like a great position right now. We do need to get an observation balloon. That'll give +1 range to the artillery once we have them. I think I slightly overbuilt bombards by 1. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I overbuilt bombards by 1. So a small mistake, not a big deal. That's 14 cuirassiers, and I need 1 more after that. I'm also building a nice railroad up here so these units can get back and forth really easily. So do we have a Spear of Fionn here? We do not, so we're waiting for these bombards to come home. Joint war Suleiman. Nope. We will be joint warring Korea, though. So hold your horses on that war. Now we've got access to steel. Steel's an important technology because it unlocks lumber mills. It improves lumber mills, not unlocks lumber mills. It gives lumber mills +1 production, so it's kind of a late game production tech. It also gives all of our cities walls and urban defenses, which are really hard to stop or break through. And then we also have access to the artillery unit now, which is one of the key units we're going to be using in this timing attack. So I think I can just go ahead and delete one of these bombards safely, no problem. You weren't meant to go in the water. I don't know why you went in the water. It's not where I clicked. Don't think I'm ready to research combustion, so I'll take a few turns to research sanitation. Because if I research combustion, I won't be able to build cuirassiers anymore, because tanks will get unlocked, right? You can't build the unit below the unit you want to build unless you're out of that strategic resource. And I just have so many strategic resources that's not gonna happen. And then I think that is my last cuirassier. Let's pop up, pick up Spear of Fionn, and then start making our way home. Probably should have gone across the water, actually. My units are faster on the water, but I've already built the railroad now. So I may as well use the railroad. There is the observation balloon. Of course, observation balloons known for being very helpful for helping trebuchets shoot farther, because it does actually give them 3 range, which is kind of a hilarious interaction in my opinion. To be peppering someone with trebuchets from 3 range is kind of a fun idea. So we have our observation balloon. Now we want to pick up... Now, what does upgrade into the medic again? I need to start building a siege tower, because the siege towers go obsolete. I think I forgot to pre-build a siege tower, which is a little bit unfortunate. That's okay. But we're basically done building our army now, so we can go back to doing economic things. Now, if this was a multiplayer game, I wouldn't stop building an army. But because it's an AI, and I know I have like a really strong timing attack, they're not going to be able to respond appropriately. So I could just play now my own game. And this is kind of a question. People might ask, okay, Potato, you have all this land to expand to. Why are you going to go to war? Well, like, look how expensive my settlers are. They're 650 production, whereas a cuirassier is like 330. And I could like have all these bonuses converge and pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities. Like if we look at the production cost of an artillery unit, it's like 1,000 production. I can build 3 of those, the 3K production plus 5 tank armies that I use gold to purchase, take out probably my closest opponent, my closest nemesis in the game, and have a bigger empire, have more land, have access to more strategics. It just seems like totally based. Plus, like if we just look, like type in the word wonder here, she has built multiple wonders that I can make use of, right? Edamananke, I think that's Alhambra, and then the Great Zimbabwe. So like I'm inheriting infrastructure here that is just inherently useful to me. Like I could probably even go kill Poland as well, and I might actually go kill Poland as well. Let's sell off our spare luxuries, because we have a lot of them. There we go. And then let's look to purchase luxuries. Nobody has luxuries I don't have access to. So this is a Spear of Fionn cuirassier. Let's go ahead and combine it with a non-Spear of Fionn cuirassier. So now we have 2 Spear of Fionn armies. This is also a Spear of Fionn cuirassier. I did do the counting, right? I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, we're good. Oh, I actually overbuilt cuirassiers as well. I guess I can cancel that then. Overbuilding, not the worst thing in the world. I don't have the... And theoretically, I could continue to overbuild, right? Because I have a huge stockpile of oil. I will use the oil relatively quickly if I build a bunch of armies, but like it's not that big of a deal, like, you know. Next turn, I think I would like to change my government cards away from building units to upgrading them. But I'll probably have to wait till conservation is done, but like, it's go time here. Sanitation, we could pick up sewers. We're going to go for totalitarianism, but we'll finish conservation. We're going to head towards totalitarianism. We have cuirassier armies finishing. I just have to kind of navigate this very carefully here. You are the Spear of Fionn, so we'll go ahead and move you there and combine you, and move you there and combine you. Perfect. So 3 Spear of Fionn cuirassier armies now, and a spare cuirassier that I'm just going to delete because it was an accident. It's okay. Like, not a big deal. You don't have to be the most optimal person in the human history. Railroad all the way up here, so new armies can just quickly run up here and get it. And I think we can now start researching actual tanks. Like, we can now get that underway. I'm going to delay conservation for 1 turn, because I would like for the cuirassier armies to finish on the same turn that I get a government reset. It's all these, like, little things that you can do to set yourself up for like a really, really good timing. So here is a Spear of Fionn Bombard being combined with a non-Spear of Fionn Bombard core. I combined them together, yoink, and now they still have the Spear of Fionn ability. +5 combat strength is huge. So let's finish conservation now. As the turn rolls over, these 2 armies will finish and they can become tanks. Tomorrow, the next turn is going to be a beautiful, beautiful time for me. All of these things that I've done are going to converge together into a beautiful symphony of destruction. I can't wait I just cannot wait. I've got 7k gold banked to do these upgrades. All right, here we go. This is go time, right? All of our military preparation is completed. These two armies do, however, need to make it up to the north, so we need to keep that in mind. We can go ahead and change our government around. There's 2 cards that I want to plug in. The most important one is I need to get rid of chivalry. I need to get rid of military organization. I need to plug in forced modernization so I can upgrade my units cheaply. And I need to plug in resource management so I don't run out of oil. Now, I could run an oil deficit for quite a long time, so I don't need resource management right now. So instead, to manage my empire better, I'll temporarily plug in Republican Legacy because that's 20 amenities. I mean, where else are you going to get such value? 20 amenities. And now that I have the half price upgrade card plugged in, I can go ahead and start upgrading. Like, look at these armies, they cost 700 gold to upgrade. Like, that's expensive. This is 460 gold. Artillery, upgrade. And in 2 turns, I will have tank upgrades as well. So it's kind of exciting. So we have our artillery now with the balloon. The only thing I'm missing is actually a medic / supply convoy. Let's get to work on a medic. I might have to buy a medic. Yeah, I'll just buy a medic. And the medic is here for healing, but it'll also get turned into a supply convoy, which will give my units +1 movement. So it'll just give me that like little bit of extra mobility. Again, remember, you want to stack as many bonuses on top of each other as like possible. Heading back to my capital, I'll finish Kilwa. And then otherwise now I want to get my banks up because I want like huge gold. Huge late game gold and science to actually like push my win condition. And I think it's safe now to take control of Anshan. I have plenty of envoys in the bank, and having control of them will mean that my universities will be much stronger. And so will my research labs. And I also deny it to anybody that I decide to declare war on. We got a university in Malinalco. I need to think about what I want to do in this city. I have entertainment complexes in the nearby area. If I'm thinking about like what actually late game thing I can do here, it's probably to build another spaceport, like having an extra spaceport city. This is a really good spaceport city as well. It's got 50 plus production. I could build Orzgaz. Orzgaz works really well with Kisawani. Lots of Diplo favor I can sell. It gives me control of the diplomatic congress. I don't need more war, I don't think. Like, I've got the war game stuff covered. So look how far these cuirassiers can move because I pre-built the railroad. He's starting over here and he's running all the way here. So like the timing, you could see again, like it's a beautiful dance when you're preparing an attack. It's a beautiful dance where you have to get everything just right. I have railroads ready to go through into Korea. Korea's army is like pathetic compared to mine. There's combustion. Now I have access to tank and supply convoys. We're going to go ahead and renew our mission in Korea. Nobody is like winning a victory right now. So let's go ahead and upgrade this medic to a supply convoy. It cost me 86 gold. Let's upgrade a tank for 500 gold, 500 gold, 500 gold. Bada bing, bada boom. Pick up Spear of Fyun, come back with your last point of movement. Get turned into a tank. Come on up here. Make your way back with your last point of movement. Get turned into a tank. 2. Now I have 5 Spear of Fyun tank armies, okay? 128 combat strength on these tanks, okay? That's not even with all my combat bonuses working for me yet, okay? 128 combat strength against a 70, like an 81 combat strength city. There is no unit on the map that can stand against me. Like, let me see if I can find like a unit I can hover over just to really show you this. Like, look at this. This is an infantry unit with 75 combat strength. This is of era. This is the same tech era as the tank. Okay, tank is here, infantry is here. This unit is of the same technology level, and I have built so many bonuses into my unit that I cannot be stopped. It's like the power of playing Aztec on a map that lets you play Aztec how they should be played. I will pick up replaceable parts because it gives me access to extra farm food, which is nice for growing in the late game. And then I'm also going to pick up research labs so we can start powering for the science victory that we've been planning for a while. And with my spare gold, I will just go ahead and buy a zoo, because it'll just give me a ton of extra amenities and make my cities a little bit cleaner and happier. In fact, I'm pretty sure if I go into my cities tab here, you can see quite a few of my cities are still content. No unhappy cities, which is your goal. You should be at least content. Ideally happy, but at least content, I think is a reasonable thing. I used to ignore amenities because they didn't like really matter. I think I'm giving a lot more respect to growth and amenities. I think I just had a particular style of play that ignored them, but I give a lot more respect to amenities. I didn't care before, but now I care. I think my play as a player has just evolved quite a bit. So when do we actually attack? I think it's next turn. Position the army on the border. Okay, prepare the artillery muscle. Now, it's important that I describe to you what this artillery formation that I've built here is called. This is the triumvirate. It's missing one piece of the triumvirate. I can't remember what it is. Observation balloon, supply convoy, and anti-air. Yeah, the only thing we're missing right now is anti-air guns. So the observation balloon gives all these units +1 range, right? Which is really, really nice. What you want. The supply convoy gives them +1 movement. And an important note about artillery is if they have more than 2 movement, they can move and shoot. So great generals and supply convoys give them the ability to move and shoot. We want to position our supply convoy to give bonus movement to all our units. So next turn is where we declare the war. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks and 3 artillery armies. We are burning oil, but we're only burning 3 per turn, so we can run a deficit for a very, very long time. Now, she's probably going to be like, hey, you're going to declare a war on me, aren't you? And I'll be like, yes. Let's bring our military engineers back down to the front because they're going to help me by building railroads to keep my unit mobility really high. And look, she's positioning units defensively because she realizes that she is super dead. By the way, this Hwacha will literally die. I have twice its combat strength. I have more than twice its combat strength. I come into Korea and I say, hey, Korea, you've been causing me problems for far too long. Let's go ahead and declare a war of territorial expansion with 25% less grievances. Also, don't forget that I have a 50% fewer grievances thing targeting me right now. So, yeah, feels good, man. Let's kill this Hwacha. Boom, he's dead. In terms of artillery positioning, I need to be at least 2 to 3 tiles away from the city. So I think I can position like this fairly safely. I can be pretty aggressive with my artillery here. I want to make sure the supply convoy is always boosting the artillery, as is the observation balloon, as is my great general. So I'll position my great general here. And then I want to shoot the city of Gyeongju. And boom, boom, boom. This is how you execute a timing attack to where you can kill an enemy city on the first turn of the war. And I should be, all things allowing, I should be able to kill a city every single turn of this war because my units are so fast, so mobile, and so damn powerful. And that's going to be the end of the episode. We will kill Korea next turn, where I'll talk about like optimizing moves and making sure you're getting all of your bonuses and doing timing attacks against the AI. And then what do you do with a conquered empire? And then what do you do with the diplomatic fallout of conquering another empire? I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.